ERV version. So tell the Israelites that I say to them, I am the Lord. I will save you. You will no longer be slaves to the Egyptians. I will use my great power to make you free, and I will bring terrible punishment to the Egyptians. You will be my people, and I will be your God. Our God is a risen Savior, the only one that conquers kings. He brings me comfort, walk me by the still waters. The King of Kings, yes, he strengthens me. The one that gave sight to the blind man. His mighty hands just can calm the sea. And this man is the only God I know. His Holy Spirit, yes, it lives in me. He fights for me even when I can't see. Jesus, the Messiah, desire is to preach. That's why the devil break and run when I speak. That old serpent trying to kill us with deceit. The wages you see in this death, so we cheat with trickery. The wickedly is trying to steal us from our victory. What? He trying to kill us with deceit, with trickery. The wickedly is trying to steal us from our victory. Our God is a powerful and loving God. He gives us faith and grace to do our job. That's why I pray to the one and only living God. Our God is a powerful and loving God. He gives us faith and grace to do our job. That's why I pray to the one and only living God. Our God raised his son from death. The tomb was empty after 3 days of rest. The same God that the angels bowed to, who was brought to earth to die as a sacrifice for me and you. Our God rained manna from heaven to feed his people that were stranded in the desert. He turned water into wine for the marriage. He gave feet to the cripple in the instance. Delivered Daniel out the den with the lions. And gave David all power to beat the giants. The ark was built because his people was defiant. The ark was built because his people was defiant. And Noah was chosen to restore the world new. All wicked things perished and the good came into. The moral of the story, coming back in the clouds of glory. And every story that you heard is a true and written word. Our God is a powerful and loving God. He gives us faith and grace to do our job. That's why I pray to the one and only living God. Our God is a powerful and loving God. He gives us faith and grace to do our job. That's why I pray to the one and only living God. Our God is the truth, the life, the hope. He breathed his breath of life into some dust and we awoke. Created all existence in 6 days and it was good. He rested on the Sabbath for his glory understood. To keep that day sacred, set aside for his people. The papacy changed dates and times due for evil. The devil walks amongst us and he sit in high places. The end is near but never fear because God is going to save us. Our God is the risen Savior, the sacrificial lamb. Jesus Christ died to save us. And even though we haven't seen it, but we trust and believe it. Our God is the risen Savior, the sacrificial lamb. Jesus Christ died to save us. And even though we haven't seen it, but we trust and believe it.
It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be. Growing, getting better. You're not the person they see. Can't be mad at the things you've been through, cause they built your muscle. Now you're stronger than you've ever been. They can't stop your hustle. Your faith ain't never small. That's what brought you this far. Yeah. See, you got your dreams and you got your prayers and you got your God. He gon' take you there. See, everybody has a season, and I believe this one's yours. Cause you've been working, waiting. This what you've been praying for. Get your blessing. Go get it. It's your time. It's your time. It's your time. You were made to live a good life, and that's what I believe. So hit the floor, say a prayer, start working. You gotta do something. It's alright to crawl before you walk. It's alright to walk before you run. But if you wanna get what you never got, gotta do something that you never got. Get your blessing. Go get it. Get your blessing. Time. It's your time. It's your time. You've been qualified. His mercy multiplied.
The other day, it's like, man, I really want to come to Christ, but I gotta clean my life up first, get my sins together. I told him, I used to think that way too. I thought I had to change myself before I could come to Christ. But Christ changed me. And me tell you my story. It starts like this. It's 5:46 in the morning, tossing and turning, chest burning. Sermons in my head keep reoccurring. Having visions in my head of a kid crying at the feet of the Father for all the wrong things that he did. Now I'm sweating in my sheets, can't sleep. My mind keeps telling me I'm 6 feet deep. Don't remind me, even though I'm still alive, I can't tell. The way I'm living my life, I feel I'm going to hell. God, they telling me I should accept you, that you had to leave the world because the world left you. Reason I can't change, like a mystery to me. So I make believe there really is a heaven for a G. Even though they say you love the world so much, you shed your blood. God, I feel I'm too messed up for love. They tell me come as I am, but I smell like smoke. My whole life's full of sin, cause it's all I know. The Bible told me that you died for my sins. If I believe in Christ to save me from the end, but I'm scared to ask you to save me. My heart's so evil, I got thoughts that's full of hatred. Hurt people, I thought that first I had to clean up my life.
All right. That's what's up. What's up, man? What's happening, sister? What's going on, baby? Feeling good?
Yo, check 1 2 1 2. What it do?
All right, welcome to the session, Bible Beats and Bars. I'm your host, Minister Fred 2. You already know the business. Every Saturday, 2 p.m. Lock and load, you already know, worldwide. Don't forget to share it. Now, you listening, so make sure you share what you think, bro.
That's right, man. Sharing is king.
So listen, we got an amazing Black History focused feature with an amazing set of organization. This organization's amazing bunch of folk. But before we get started, we got to go head on and get you go turn it up a little, drop a little something. We're gonna hit you with the flip the script. I'm gonna get my host up here. You know, he was doing it like crazy the last couple of weeks, man. And I couldn't do it without him. So what you'll get to meet him, you know him, but you'll get to meet him if you have never. But welcome to the session, Bible Beats and Bars. Give it to him. Scissor hand.
Eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard the kind of blessings that's about to fall on me. 'Cause victory is here. Kick defeat out the door. God's doing a new thing, yeah. Get ready for overflow, 'cause I'm getting ready. Something I've never seen. Prophesy over your life, say, I'm getting ready to see. Oh, something I've never seen. Say, I'm getting ready. Something I've never seen. Say it again, I'm getting ready. Something I've never seen. Let's say it together. Say, eyes haven't seen. Eyes haven't seen. Come on, say, and ears haven't heard. What? The kind of blessing, yeah, kind of blessing that's about to fall on me. Say, victory is here. Victory is here. It kicked defeat out the door. God's doing a new thing. Get ready. Get ready. Now throw your hands up, say, I'm getting ready.
All right, there it is. Come on, man. You already know, man. Let's give it up for my man. Scissor. Hands in the building. That's what's up. But you know, I got to get my dude in here. You already know, man. So I want y'all to put your hands together. Y'all got to put your hands together for my man, big homie, my homie Love. It's my man, Marcus Sims. What's up, man? Come on, y'all. Put your hands together for my man, Marcus Sims. Hey.
Like a female, can I spit you?
Hey.
Yeah, you all. Please be seated. Especially at home, please be seated.
What's going on, man? How you feeling, bro?
Doing great to be here. Of course, Black History Month.
You already know.
Honoring the heroes, those who are making a difference in our community, those that are bringing about some form of positivity.
Yeah.
That's what this whole format's about: positivity, love, peace, and you know, this month, man, it's all about the history and the individuals. Our special guests that we'll have a little later on are making history every day,
which
is so important. Of course, I gotta give a big shout out to
My homie.
Yeah.
My brother from another, DJ Scissorhands on the ones and twos. How you doing,
Salute, family. How you doing, man?
Man, doing great. Of course, we want to say this right off the top. Mr. Fred.
Yes.
Tonight, G93, DJ
That's right.
Scissorhands, right?
You already? Come on, what's up, bro?
Yeah, 9 p.m., man. That's right. Scissorhands Radio.
What you got lined up? What you got
man?
What we got lined up, man, is a very special Black history event going on in hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? We dropping lessons and blessings and, something you can step to.
So you can nod your head, but also you're going to learn something,
man,
too.
The whole, Tupac said your head round, man. That's 360 degree constant learning. You know what I'm saying?
That's Scissorhands right there.
I love it.
I love it. All right,
so let's get to flip the script here. I'll get this in. We're going to get our guests up. You ready to do this? Oh, no, but what's the theme for?
We are rocking heroes. Heroes. So, this shirt, it reads Reed, Sue, Ben. I guess I'm going in the right order. Anyway.
And Johnny.
Right. If you could, right. If you could read if you know who they are, you can put it in the chat.
Yes.
But there's 4 of them.
1, 2, 3,
so if
4.
that says something about who this Reed, Sue, Ben, Johnny. 4 of them.
4.
First family of Marvel. That's also another hint.
Hint. Okay, that's enough hints. That's enough.
Right. Just put it in the chat if you have any idea.
I got mine. They didn't have no words.
Yeah, that's the universal symbol right there.
Shining over the city, man.
Got guns.
Right. If you ever want to see Minister Fred in the area, just sit here and just flash that. What they say. Minister Fred. There's something happening in North Huntsville.
Let's go. All right, so here we go. We go hit it with the flip the script. And I wanted to do something that was going to be timely and it fit. And I'm going to do Matthew 5:9, guys. And it says, first of all, you're blessed when you can show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight or accuse. That's when you discover who you really are and your place in not only God's family, but community. Did y'all get that? Okay, let me do it again. Now,
give some once again.
We come heavy, right? Matthew 5:9. I did the message version, right? Okay. And it says, "You're blessed when you can show people how to cooperate instead of competing, instead of fighting, disharmony and unity. That's when you discover who you really are,
right?
And you discover your place in God's family and the community in which you serve." Today's session is just all about an organization doing that.
Serving.
So give us a little music. We're going to get this intro going. I am excited about it. I think we need to do that, man. Let's put them in the middle. You want to put them in the middle?
Yeah, the stars get in the middle.
You put the stars in the middle. All right, bet that. Drop some, bro.
Hey. A little inner circle.
Man, what you know about that song, bro?
What I know about the song?
Yeah, what you know about that song?
That's the group's Inner Circle. Reggae group. 1980's been around for a while, but yeah. Inner Circle. That was a big hit for him, of course, from the show House.
There it is.
So today, yeah. So without any further ado, we want to introduce some amazing gentlemen and one amazing young lady. It's the organization is referred to as Noble.
Right.
Now I'm going to introduce them. I'm going to ask them to come up first, and then we're going to jump right in on this conversation. And we want you to take the time. If you have a question or you have a comment, put it in the chat so that we can address.
Good point, Mr. Fred, because we're going to bring up some interesting topics, discussion on this particular show, Black History Month, and we're going to talk. It's going to be a very, very timely discussion that I personally want to ask the mom and dads, the kids. They all definitely need to. All the shows that we want everyone to watch, but
right.
I think these are going to be some topics that we're going to bring up that maybe you want to sit there and take some notes, pay attention, listen, and listen again.
I love it.
Yeah.
So our first guest,
all
without
right.
any further ado, is we're going to ask the captain himself. Now, this guy is coming from Madison County Sheriff's Department. I mean, an amazing gentleman.
Yes.
I know him. I've seen him in doing a lot of amazing things, and he's very intentional. It's none other than Captain J.R. Bullock. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together for the good doctor. Come on up, Doc. Come on up. Come on up here, brother. We're going to do clumps. That's what's up. Come on, have a seat, my brother. Our second guest is another amazing gentleman that has a long legacy of making a difference in the community here in Huntsville and really abroad and some other areas of the country as well. So I want to ask, coming to the stage again, our second amazing guest, Captain Jeffrey Rice Sr. Come on, put your hands together, yo. Are you going to see right there? Yes. And then we're going to have some sweet savior flavor. You know what I'm saying?
We got to have some class on the stage.
Oh, okay. That's there.
Gotta
That's,
have
a,
some
that's
class.
a great
It
way.
just can't be me. Got to have some class on the stage, brother.
I'm talking about look good, about being good, stepping in the name of good, and still got that I'm going to do what I need to do when I step out and
Makes sense what you're saying.
Matching head to toe, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's none other than, come to the stage, the queen. It is Sergeant White. Come on up. Woo!
All right. Hello.
Cool. All right, so let me get a few mics here, and we're going to get this party started. We'll pass that one on down, and then we'll have this one on this end, and we'll move it around a little bit. All right. So how are you all doing? Welcome to the session, Bible Beats and Bars. We get in and do work. How you feeling?
All right. Feeling good. How you doing, Fred?
I am
pretty
fantastic.
Glad to be here.
All right, all right.
You know, it's interesting. You got a DJ, a minister, you've got captains and sergeants, and then you got a capo.
You go.
God is good.
Right. Well, I don't know if you're a capo in anything. If you're a capo in something, but anyway, it's so awesome. It's so awesome to have you guys here. Boy, I feel like I'm the safest guy in North Huntsville right now.
You are.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about you all are a part of a huge national organization. And Cap, you have been in this thing for some amazing years. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. But I just want to actually, first of all, let's introduce the main focus, which is about the organization Noble. So who wants to start? Would you like to start, or Cap? What about Cap? We got two Caps. All right, Captain Rice, why don't you share a little bit about that? That would be great. And you want to talk to our listeners and our wives.
All right. So Noble stands for the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. Been around since 1976.
Wow.
And the organization wants to serve as the conscience of law enforcement.
Okay, wait. That's heavy. The consciousness of law enforcement. And it's National Organization
of Black Law Enforcement Executives.
Wow. Black law enforcement executives.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is a lot of words. That's a heavy statement. And what does that mean to the consciousness of law enforcement?
Well, we want to make sure that we're supporting the best practices in law enforcement, making sure there's equity and administration of justice in the nation as it pertains to law enforcement. So that's Noble's focus. That's Noble's mission, to do those things and to serve the community and just try to make the overall community better.
Wow. All right. Cap, what's your take on it? Why are you a part of Noble?
When I in the early 90s, that's when I first became involved with Noble. The chapter was headquartered out of Birmingham. Chief John Johnson was the Noble president at that time. And attending that particular event as a young patrolman, and take in mind, I've been with the sheriff office 34 years. So we're going way back.
Okay. All right.
And so the standard of what is expected to see other individuals that look like me that have achieved that high goal, but their main priority was making the community better and setting a better example, not only for people that look like us, but for the entire community. And so that's what got me on board.
Sergeant.
So I am a brand new member of Noble. I recently joined within the last couple of weeks. But Captain Rice is one of my mentors, and I spoke to Captain Bullock here a couple of weeks ago as well, and he advised me of the organization. And it's all about being fair and administrating equity in the Black community and stuff like that. So, and that's everything that we stand for. So they sold me on learning, and I'm still learning the history today. But I absolutely want to support what they're having go in their mind, what the mission stands for.
Love it, Marcus.
Now, I guess so that everyone that out there is watching right now, I'm going to start ladies first. How long have you all been involved in law enforcement? Because that's how long have you all been involved in law enforcement?
So I've been an officer for 9 years.
9 years.
26 years.
26 years.
Been with the sheriff office 34 years.
Wow.
Fred, if you do those numbers, that's
do it right now.
almost
Let me do it right now.
127 years they've been involved in law enforcement.
Wow.
I think my math is off a little bit, but that wasn't my. That wasn't.
What'd you say? Yes,
I doubled them up.
Right,
But that's so 20. So wow.
26 plus 9 plus 30.
Fred actually pulled out a calculator, folks.
Literally, I'm gonna get it right. I'm about that life.
Yeah.
I work with kids all the time.
If you're watching right now, he actually pulled out a calculator.
69 years on the state. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together.
That's
69 years
That's
of
what's
Black
up.
excellence. Come on now.
And now, real
Wow.
quickly, between you all, just I guess brief because we got a lot of things to cover. But what made you all want to become or go into the field of law enforcement? What made?
Let me just say, for me personally, growing up on the other side of the track, let's talk for real, and seeing back during my era, the difference in law enforcement and seeing the injustice that you have good officers. Well, I didn't get opportunity to experience those good officers. What I observed was the bad officers, and so I knew there was an opportunity. If we're going to make our community better, instead of always complaining, you got to get involved. And so that's what brought me to this point, to set that standard, to let everyone know, no matter what side of the track you came from, if you put in the work, you can be successful.
Similar to politics, right, Mr. Fred? If you want change at the political level, instead of complaining about it, get involved with it, right?
That's exactly it. And Sergeant,
I initially never.
Gonna talk a little bit.
And I initially never considered law enforcement. I've always wanted to do the legal aspect. I wanted to become an attorney, which I recently did. But my whole aspect, I was presented the opportunity to come on to HPD, and I thought about it, and I was like, that would be a great opportunity for me to learn both sides of it if I, joined HPD and also became an attorney. But my whole goal was to be a servant to people, because there's such a lack of trust with the Black community and law enforcement, and I knew that people who knew me could get a fair understanding of why police did what they did. And so I felt like I could be the bridge to help foster that relationship between the African-American community and law enforcement.
Wow.
Well, I'm on the same level as Sergeant White. I didn't grow up aspiring to be a police officer. I finished my career, my education at Alabama A&M University.
Here we go.
I took a job.
Rich in heritage, divine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Long live that.
Long live that.
Yes. So I took a job with the University Police Department, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. And I've always had service as a kid. So I really loved law enforcement. And so I moved to a little city of Hartsville, Alabama. I became a police officer, and then I came to Huntsville. Born and raised North Huntsville, just like Sergeant White. I felt that if others could see me doing it, and we could do it the right way and to fill a niche, that we could really truly make a difference in our community. So that's why I'm here. It's just an opportunity to serve and give back.
Come on, let's put our hands together. Listen, this is good stuff. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, Mr. Fred, it's so interesting. They took the right path. I decided like several years ago to lead a vigilante lifestyle. Like I'm telling on myself, but like 1 o'clock.
But you're a good vigilante.
On and it's on a popping, brother.
Well, it's
notice
okay.
the percentiles went down 10% because of me.
So, but listen,
maybe I shouldn't say that.
This guy right here, look, this is my homie right here. So, but you know what? Let me say this, and you're welcome to jump in anytime. What I think is very, very, very impressive about these individuals on the stage is that they made a conscious decision to be the change. Listen to what I'm saying. To be the change as an African American, Black American in a community that sometimes, number one, is not seen in the area of excellence. Let's just be real. With history, culture, time, and it has not always been positive. So for you to say, listen, I'm going to jump in the race, be a part of an organization that can make a difference, knowing the circumstance, given the history, given realities, given our current status in the nation, and then especially in the South. We're in the South, folks. We're not pseudo South. No, we are in the South. We are in Alabama. We're in the seat of racial injustice, histories that are not good, or histories that have not painted a very healthy picture. And so this is an important, because for a lot of us, and I'm gonna say including myself, it wasn't a positive experience growing up. I grew up from New York, moved to Birmingham, and it was not good walking down First Avenue trying to get to Woodlawn and not seeing officers that looked like me. And so today is important because we need to make sure that you see that the good in law enforcement, and for you all that are activists like myself and Marcus and DJ Scissorhand, we didn't just say that it's not right. You saw us on the front line. Even in our careers, you see us on the front line, and they're on the front line. So we want to say thank you, and thank you for taking time to do that.
Definitely. Now, Mr. Fred, we do want to tell everyone, if you want to know more about the organization Noble, you can go to the website, and that's nobleinternational.org, because I'm actually, when this show ends, I'm going to check out the website myself, and I'm going to see if maybe under the qualifications, if I'm eligible to join. You guys, is it proper?
You're not going to make it, man.
Yeah. Okay. For your healthy donation of $25, you can get a sticker say I support Noble.
And Marcus, really, when you do go to the website, there's a link for supporters.
Okay.
And we are looking for supporters of Noble.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, and then we'll double back, because we want to talk about your backstory a little bit more and some other things. But let's talk about Noble. How do you become a part of that? You talked about the mission to be the consciousness or the conscious mind in law enforcement as a whole, but how do you get engaged in that? Because there are people that are watching saying, man, this isn't right. How can I connect with law enforcement in a way with people that look like me for the good?
Well, again, you can go to our website and hit on that supporter link. Click on that. There are many ways to support. You can support through your donations. You can support by coming out and being a part of local events that Noble supports, such as giving back to school kids for back to school projects, gun take back programs, just educational forums on how to interact with law enforcement. So there's so many different ways that you can support. And matter of fact, coming up this March, March the 12th, we will have a scholarship gala in Birmingham, Alabama. And we are needing support for scholarships throughout the state of Alabama. And some of those local dollars will go to students in the Homestead-Madison County area. But we are the Alabama chapter of Noble, and we have members across the state of Alabama and in Southern Tennessee.
Wow.
So we have a great reach in over 60 different chapters throughout the world.
60 different chapters.
Yes.
And you can count on No More Dirty to be a part of that, because you sent us a letter, so we will sponsor. And we're just figuring out what's the best way, but we are going to support. So let me just say this. If you are an organization that believes in change, be the change. Go to the website. I think you have nationalnoble.org, and then you have noble.org, noble.org, national spelled out, noble, NOBLE, altogether.org. Let's dig in. I know there's a few areas we want to dig in on. All right, so let's go back to the sergeant. You get sergeant. We got to talk about. I saw your resume, and so let me just read this, please, folks. Let me read this. You know, she just breezed over this law stuff like it was like, oh, I'm just drinking water. Now let me put my badge on. So let's go. Let's go. So this is just part of the bio. I'm just giving you a little bit. Sergeant has worked as a parole officer, was a member patrol. Did I say patrol? Patrol officer. Thank you so much. Tongue tied. I need water. Was a member of the incident response team, and I want you to share a little bit about that. The recruitment team, and was assigned to the internal affairs division as the investigator for over 5 years. Now, you're African American, you're a woman, you're in investigation. What is that like in Huntsville, Alabama? Okay, let's just stop right there.
It was a very rewarding position, and it gave me opportunities to speak with citizens that had concerns with how they were treated by our officers. So we would conduct investigation anytime we got a complaint from a citizen on the conduct of our officers, and then we would conduct the investigation and forward that up, depending on our findings. But a lot of times I would get interactions with African American communities, and they would be glad that they had someone of color, such as myself, to speak to, and it calmed down situations that they felt like were they were mistreated, and I can explain some things to them from our perspective, and I can also understand how they felt being an African American person when we come in contact with law enforcement. So I felt like my presence there kind of alleviated some of that resentment towards law enforcement, because they felt like they had someone they could trust that would actually listen to their complaint and not just take up for the department. So it was a very rewarding position for me.
I think that's powerful. Another thing that I read in your bio is that you are an adjunct professor. So tell us what you're.
So I'm an adjunct professor for Calhoun Community College. I teach Introduction to Criminal Justice courses, and those are the initial courses that you took when you're going in a criminal justice path. That teaches you all the history of criminal justice from Bobby's and Europe and everything like that. So that's the beginning level, and I have a lot of students that they want to take the law enforcement route,
Right.
so they take those criminal justice courses.
And you are the first Black female sergeant in Huntsville police history.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow, folks. Wow. We got to put our hands together. Come on, what? Listen, we talk about the Rosa Parks of the 60s and the 70s. We talk about the Dr. Kings. We talk about the Malcolm X. Now, here's all respect, but they're resting. Someone has to carry the baton. A Black woman, educated, lawyer, adjunct professor from the neighborhood, change agent, and relatable while still being lawful. All right. What in the world? This is why we do what we do here at the session, Bible Beats and Bars, because it's really that important. How many African American Black girls are like, hey, what? I want to do something great. I want to be the first in Huntsville, Alabama.
Well, I never set out to be the first.
No one does ever,
and I didn't learn that until I actually went through the process. But a lot of it's just what I wanted to contribute to the community. It was never to be, someone that initiates the whole thing. I just wanted to be of service. I just wanted to do my job. I wanted people to be able to come to me and know that I was going to give them a fair answer, and they can understand what we do, and they can feel like somebody actually listens.
Wow. This is real. This is a very sobering conversation, and it's something that is very uplifting. So I wanted to take a little time to celebrate and share that information, because didn't know. How many of us in our communities don't know? We perish for the lack of not knowing. All right, Marcus.
All right, that's some wow.
That's heavy, bro.
Congratulations.
It is.
Congratulations once again. And like I said, what we're doing, we're honoring, of course, Black History Month, and we're honoring people who are heroes in our community. But I think what makes this show even more special, guys, is that we've got some things we're going to discuss that look, we're in a different time. This is 2022. We're gonna just, we're gonna keep it real out there. So as I said at the top of the show, get the kids around, get the family around. Be sure to take some notes, and it's gonna be a great show. Definitely a great show. Now I'm gonna jump ahead to one of the points that we had on here, and from each of you, I'd like to hear. We're gonna start off with Captain Bullock, if you don't mind, briefly, if you don't mind. Why would you consider? Why should a young person of color, a young Black brother, a young Black sister, consider a career in law enforcement? And we want all three of you to say, but Sergeant, Captain Bullock, we're gonna start with you first.
As I mentioned earlier, if you're going to stand on the sideline and always point your finger at the system, and you come to the system with a problem, but you don't come with the system with a solution, and the solution is easily for you to get involved as an individual. And been doing this for quite some time, understanding and seeing the ins and outs of the economic from our community. The scale, of course, is made up different, but we still can navigate that. We don't need to make excuses why we cannot be successful. And I feel that if you're a young person out in the community, and Noble also have Caucasian white members as well. And so it's important to know it's not about Black and white. Law enforcement, we work for the community, we work for the citizens, okay? And we answer to our bosses. So if you're about doing the right thing, you have the right thing in your heart to do the right thing, you do the Christian thing, then public servant, to be a true servant, is very rewarding, because all of that you've been paying it forward, you'll be rewarded in the long run.
Sarge.
Not to sound redundant, but it's always going to be, if you want to see change, you need to be the change. And of course, when we're dealing with people of color, and right now there's this whole thing of police reform.
Correct.
We have to put those people and people like-minded in those positions that make those changes, to make those decisions, so that we do have equity among administration. So we do have fair, we're giving fair sentences.
Correct.
That we're treated fairly. So we have to put people in places that are going to do that. So if you want to see that change, you have to put yourself in those positions that we can make some changes, because it does need to be some reform, but it has to start with us.
I love that.
And you're talking about a fulfilling job, career. We often meet people at the worst time in their lives. And you can be that beacon of hope. You can be that change maker. You can be that bridge to help somebody. That is truly fulfilling. And so anybody out there that wants to give back to their community, that wants to serve, as these two have already said, you want to be the change, be a part of the change, be the change that you want to see. Get on board. Join your local law enforcement. Not only local law enforcement, but even our federal partners. We have federal partners that are in Noble. So we go across the full spectrum of law enforcement. We have law enforcement district attorneys in Alabama and all over who are part of Noble. So there are different careers in law enforcement that you can be a part of and also be a part of Noble.
Wow. Let me just chime real quick and we'll move to the second question. I think the other thing too, that if you haven't heard, is being intentional about being involved. So how you see us at No More Dirty, very involved in a lot of things. This is an amazing example of law enforcement, people of color, Black law enforcement, executives and officers engage boots on the ground. And I think it's important because it's like the same thing in education. If you don't have Black professors with their doctorate degree, their master's degree, they can't compete with all the other professors. So if you're not engaged as in law enforcement as a upstanding officer with integrity, then you get what you get left, if that's what's left. And then you have to deal with the injustice, which I know we're going to address. But these are important because you got to be a part of it. When I was on the sideline talking about this needs to be moved, that's good. You're right. But right don't make it move until you get out there and do right with the move. So that's about the movement. Yes, sir.
You know what, Mr. Frey, I got a quick question I'm going to throw out there because I know we got we got a 5-minute break we're going to take.
Yes.
The homie DJ Scissorhands, because he's just sitting there cooling and he needs to work up a sweat. I don't like him sitting there not working up a sweat. I like to see that coming down that forehead, you know. But before we take this brief break, I'm going to ask you all once again briefly. This is something that I was just thinking about. What is one misconception that people have about law enforcement that, I mean, maybe you hear it every day? Because, I mean, one of the things is, I know you guys only work 4.5 or 5 hours a day. I know you guys don't get phone calls all times of the day.
Bro.
So far, I've been wrong in 2 areas. You guys wake up thinking of nothing more than sitting there wanting to pull out, write someone a ticket, ready to put.
Wow.
So I've been wrong in 3 areas. I feel like I'm taking another math test again. wrong.
That's
so
what is
the, so what are some things that folks that you hear, maybe you hear every day, or that you throughout your career that you've heard, like, look, man, this I mean, give us one real quick because we want to sit there and make it clear.
Oh man, you guys write the tickets because that's how you get paid, and the money goes everywhere else but for where it's supposed to. That's one of the big things throughout my whole career.
Wow.
Why you write so many tickets? Where's the money going? It don't go to us.
So when you write a ticket, it doesn't go to your cappuccino machine.
No. Absolutely not.
It's not a cappuccino machine on your floor that's exact that. So it doesn't go to that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And the whole reason you write a citation is to change a person's driving habits. It's not about raising revenue. Mm-hmm. That's not what it's about.
Wow.
And if it is about that, then it's wrong. It's wrong.
Okay. Keeping the community safe, keeping the roadway safe. If everyone respect each other on the roadway, the accidents be way down. The revenue that you have in your wallet will stay in your wallet and not give to the system.
You don't see so many dented up cars here in the state of Alabama.
That's true.
I mean, good grief,
man.
Anyway, do you have one misconception that you face, Sergeant, all the time, or something? You just want to get out the book. That's not true. That's a distortion.
Well, as a former IA investigator, it was just that whatever you complain about, or we got complaints that we were never going to look into it, and we were always going to take the officer's side, and that's just not true. We're office of unbiased professionals. We hold our officers accountable. And if you file a complaint, we will look into it. We're not going to take the officer's side.
Wow.
Unless they're correct.
That's good. That's really good. We just gotta. You want to do the music and then come back with a question?
Let's go back because we got a lot of hot topics.
Yeah, this right.
Oh, we're just getting started.
People chiming in, man.
I
got 2 questions for y'all. This is a hot topic. You know, this ain't nobody. Go ahead, brother.
DJ Scissorhands, DJ Scissorhands, my brother from another. Give it.
Da 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 da. Learn something, teach something, make a stack, take that, flip that, give it back. Learn something, teach something, make a stack, take that, flip that, give it back. You don't work, don't eat, don't sleep till you get it. When you feel it, let it breathe. Preach. Yeah, I like to take my time with it, vibe with it. I be sitting on these bars sipping fine linen, ink spilling when I drop rhythm. Time ticking, gripping pistols, my metallic pencil. Lines given, iron when it hit the cerebellum. Plot thickens, in the serum dripping, sick condition. Who you telling? Better not be COVID. 7 knots we open. Buried bondage, 6 feet, reach deep, see? Finna learn you something. That's that burn you bumpin'. Flames, finna catch you up in. I'm fluid, torch the light. Ain't no match for youngins. AI only yay high, but flow by with the cross. Carry team like I'm hey. No verse, son. Mommy bars in a booth. Get your work done. Better not be tripping. You got juice? That's cool. I own the kitchen. So when you done with your cup, better wash them dishes. Learn something, teach something, make a stack, take that.
Waste no more time, 'cause I already made up my mind. 'Cause I'm good with it. Trying to make some moves is so frustrating. Listening to advice from folk become intimidating. Yeah, I get tired of taking in. It's now time for me to begin and do whatever the Lord wants me to do. See me on the bottom, know I'm good with it. Even when I'm on the top, you know I'm good with it. Ain't nobody's gonna stop me, yes, I'm good with it. Yeah. All about me, know I'm good with it. All I've been thinking what I'm gonna do in my life. I don't wanna waste no more time, 'cause I already made up my mind.
I'm putting it all on the table, man. 2P13. I'm all in. Yeah, 2P13. The whole team all in too. 2P13. Game up. Okay, let's go. R.I.P. to the old man, Raising the stakes, my chips in. We 50 deep and ain't bluff in. My poker face, got on my poker face, and I'm so far gone like glued up, like I'm running back through that clue. I'm putting it all on that line, boy. Like in the grand slam, so far gone like glued up, like I'm running back through that clue. I'm putting it all on that line, boy. Like in the grand slam, so far gone like glued up, like I'm running back through that clue. I'm putting it all on that line, boy. Like in the grand slam, all or nothing, no straight. Got the highest hand, no straight. Got a 10, got a jack, queen, king, and ace. That's a royal flush. If you ain't know what that mean, man, what that mean? Rally around me, man, then I king. All that mean is King Jesus gave us everything on that tree. Gave us everything when he died. Gave us the winning hand when he rose. 2 Peter 1:3. All things, Lord knows. All or nothing, see, I ain't bluffing and I ain't flexing, I'm turning up. They pulverized, they brutalized, they crucified them, they strung them up. He resurrected, I rose with him. That great commission, I go get him. I'm so fishing, I'm so Christian, I still believe God can sober up. Anybody's seeing, problem. Holy Spirit, gospel, got him. We just gotta be all in. It worked back then with Paul and them. I'ma stick to the script, I'm all in, go. R.I.P. to the old man, Raised in the stakes, my chips in. We 50 deep and ain't bluff big. Got on my poker face and we all in.
I was told that I'm kinda strange and I can't debate it. Either way, I'ma kill the game like it's premeditated. Like Duke boy, when I'm aiming at the booth boy, put the lights to the roof boy. When you're riding in your coupe boy, aiming at your whole crew boy.
Well, you know, lost your mind. R.I.P. to the old me.
Okay, he worked up a sweat now. He worked up a sweat. That's DJ Scissorhands. Don't forget you can check him out.
Give it up for my man,
Scissorhands, tell them again where they can check you out tonight. Where can they check you out tonight?
Come on through, man. Get these jewels, man. Get this lesson. You definitely gonna nod your head because your neck said it was fat. You know what I'm saying? So, 9 p.m. G93. Shout out to Ed Gaines Entertainment and
yes, sir.
live365.com, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Black History Month.
Man, Black History Edition. Yep.
DJ Scissorhands.
And I love the fact. Listen. I get it. Some people like some of that ratchet. He cleaned it up. He baptized ratchet music, and you still be like, "Oh, no explicits. Oh, I can do it." Okay, so there it is. You get it. 9 p.m.
Yeah,
tonight.
my grandma used to like it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Just you gonna turn up. Just take that out. Take that. So, okay, we're back. No more dirty. You already know the session Bible beats and bars. Listen, this section, there's an artist, and we're going to play their video, and you get a chance to check it. You all, it's one of our favorite artists. His name is Bizzle, Bizzle, and he actually has engaged in a real positive sense as a hip hop artist, kind of like what we do in this community. But he has a music video called Black and Blue. And I want you to look at watch the video. When we finish, we're going to come back. Let me give you the question so you can be thinking about it while the video is on. And so continue to send them. We've got 3 or 4 different questions, but this is one. It says, and this is for you all, it says, how do you suggest civilians get involved with helping bridge the gaps and get involved with Noble so that we can bring about equity and unity?
Captain Book answered that question earlier. He said, "Don't be a vigilante like me."
Yeah, but no, we need more detail. So if I just pull up,
yeah, he told me.
If I pull up to the
yeah,
station, be like, "Listen, I really want to get involved, but I have no idea."
Yes. So
And
ask him again. Give it to him one more time, bro.
So let's see. The question is, how do I or us as a civilian get involved? And help you all bridge the gap that is between law enforcement and community in such a way, and then become actually involved in Noble.
I would say to that individual, and by the way, that's a very, very good question. We appreciate that question. I would say that one of the most important ways to make that contact is when you see an officer out there in the field, don't be afraid to approach that officer.
Okay.
And let's say your first contact is not a good contact.
All right.
Then you move on to that second.
Okay.
The second may not be good. Then you find somebody like Captain Rice, Sergeant White, or myself that's going to use that opportunity to see, okay, now we can plant that seed because now the community is reaching out to us. And as public servants, we want to have that engagement, that positive engagement, okay?
Positive.
And so when we start telling you about our job and what we have to deal with day in, day out, and then tell you what organizations that can support anything that you may have going on in your community, it's outstanding resources for the community leaders and the young people that's out there that are interested in coming in law enforcement.
Love that. Anyone else want to chime, or is that good?
But I would say, also another way people can get involved with Noble, when we have back to school drives to give school supplies and book bags and other things to our children, make sure that you participate in those type of things. We do blood drives, gun take back program.
Yes.
Again, get involved with our scholarship gala. Again, to help us to be able to give scholarships to young people who may want to go into careers of law enforcement. That's what it's geared for. So those type of things that people can get involved with to support Noble as we continue to support the community.
Wow.
Well, I love that. And I want to just talk about when we come back after this video, because this video is amazing video. And let me say this on behalf of us, it's Christian hip hop artists, clean artists, conscious artists. We are in agreement that there is a way to get things done in partnership and collaboration. So when we come back, there's some other questions, but one of the other questions is, what does it take to be involved as a community organization and a stakeholder? And we talked on that. I think that's a good one, because there are organizations, there are individuals, there are private donors, there are an array of different people that can be a help in collaborative efforts, which you just spoke about. And I think these are some of the things we definitely need to cover in terms of, as well as the issue of racial injustice and some positive things. How do we turn this corner? Because we're turning the corner, which is a blessing in this Huntsville, Madison County area, which is huge because we're making some strides. So let's go to this. Professor, go ahead. Let's show this video, Black and Blue, by Bizzle. What's up?
I just wanted Captain Book to confirm with me one more time.
You're wrong.
Let's go to the video.
Let's go to the video.
See, I've been an officer for 17 years. It was popular when I started up. Kids wanted to be us, but now I'm watching them offer up middle fingers. When we pull up, you would think I was harming them, but we still come when they call us up. Put my life on the line. Every night I'm behind this badge, and I ride through your hood to prevent the crime that's inside. You want justice and peace, and that's what we try to provide. But when we tried, you pick the criminal side every time until it's one of mine. That's like the only time you comply. But any other time you look me in my eye and you lie. You only want accountability when it's me, but other times you lie to keep your dealers and killers free. You act like we the ones causing chaos in the streets, like if we leave the killing to cease and it'll be sweet, but we both know that that ain't the truth. Imagine protecting those that hated you. Well, I guess in your own way you do. I just feel misunderstood, and if you could take a minute just to see it my way. And even if we just agree to disagree, at least you see why I'm thinking this way. I got a family at the crib, I'm just trying to make it home tonight. We just out here trying to live, man, I gotta make it home tonight. Dear Mr. Officer, if I could get a minute to talk to you, maybe offer some insight or bounce a couple things off of you. It's a disconnect. I feel like you get a check to disrespect. To me, my fit is fresh. I guess to you, my image is a threat. Maybe I remind you of some sucker that you busted once. Or maybe you've been at it for so long that you're becoming numb. You uphold the law, but tell me what's that supposed to mean to me? When once upon a time, that law punished me for being me. Yeah, you got your good cops and bad cops, but if the good cop don't check the bad cop, to me you broke black cops, you covering for that cop. So why should I believe you? You living by the same no snitching rules that we do. Now who's protecting evil? Or does that not apply to you? Maybe you different, maybe I should stop profiling you. You judging me, I'm judging you. My color black, your color blue. Guess now you know how it feels to be judged by your color too. I just feel misunderstood, and if you could take a minute just to see it my way. And even if we just agree to disagree, at least you see why I'm thinking this way. I got a family at the crib, I'm just trying to make it home tonight. We just out here trying to live, man, I gotta make it home tonight.
Look, I'll tell you what. Take your license, just get your tail light fixed, okay? And, man, you get home to your family tonight, okay?
Officer.
You too. Thank you, man.
Wow. What do you think? What do you think, Cap?
That was pretty good. I mean, he gave both sides of it, gave them the officer's perspective, then came from the citizen's perspective. But at the end, we want everybody to go home.
Come on.
Everybody goes home. That's what it's about. Everybody goes home.
And I think it goes back to what you said, Cap, and you referred to in the statement before, that until we decide as a community whether we're wearing black, blue, or other, we can never be community. We just can't, because then we breed and we feed the beast of injustice, the beast of non-accountability. It could be an array of things when really the bottom line is we need to have the conversation. And then when you have best practices and righteous practices or equitable practices in law enforcement, which you hold people accountable because you are the consciousness of law enforcement, we can make change. These guys in Houston, Bloody Fifth, the Ninth Ward, I came from it was just not just black and black, it was black and blue, more black and blue than it was black and black. But at some point when you start to make that deal, that you want to be a different change and begin with you and your organization, like with us in hip hop and conscious and clean hip hop and Christian hip hop and spiritual hip hop and poetry, then that's the voice and the language that needs to be heard.
Yeah, Mr. Fred, we do want to remind everyone once again, you're locked into the session.
Yes.
Here at the spot. And of course, you can find out more information about the session at nomoredirty.org. That's nomoredirty.org. It's on your screen right now. So if you're looking at it on your tablet, computer, phone, maybe you're here right now.
Yeah, you can support too. Make it. Again, we talk
Black
about
History Month. Support a black business, right?
You're looking at one right now.
Right.
You're looking at a whole bunch of black folk on
What's
the
the
stage.
Cash App, Mr. Fred?
The Cash App is $No More Dirty INC.
And if someone makes a donation, that goes to your No More Dirty cappuccino machine, right?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
It goes just.
What about the No More Dirty helicopter?
Nah, bro. That's Batman. He lets me borrow it.
You don't have the No More Dirty helicopter or the No More Dirty hot tub or none of that. It goes back to community sponsored and themed events, right?
No More Dirty TV, radio, Camp Smart, all it. Just go to the website, and if you really believe and you're listening to this and you really want to be a part of that, you have 2 black organizations that you can give to and get a write-off for the sake of tax deductibility, and you can also see change. That's Noble, Black Law Enforcement Executive National Organization, and nomoredirty.org. You got it. Make it happen. Don't talk about it. Be about it. All right, let's go.
You know what? Let's reintroduce our guest once again,
Yes.
Mr. Fred. And if you guys could just wave to the good people out there. Okay, we want to introduce representing Noble, Captain Jeffrey Rice Sr.
All right. Hey, everybody.
We want to welcome Captain J.R. Bullock.
Hey, thank you for having us.
He has the voice.
Very white for law enforcement.
And last but most certainly not least, Sergeant Rosalind White.
Hello to everyone.
All right.
It's interesting because in law enforcement you have to go with the titles and the cap and all of that. But I was like, okay, the queen and then the king. You're like, okay, so we'll just follow protocol, but you the queen, just know that. And then you have family. You know what I'm saying? So we want to respect that. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, of course we do want to remind everyone once again the website. So if you're watching right now, and I'm sure Professor X will throw it on the screen, but nobleinternational.org is the website. We want you to check out the website, find out more information about this incredible organization that our 3 guests represent. And you can find out much, much more on how you can be a volunteer, a help, a sponsor, the whole 9.
Come on.
Go to the website.
Come on.
Once again, at least educate yourself during Black History Month, right?
That's it. Well,
educate yourself.
365 days of Black
History.
History.
I want you to educate yourself today.
Yes, okay.
This hour. Don't leave us right now in the education, but like around 5 o'clock, educate yourself. But Mr. Fred, we still got a few more hot topics.
Okay, let's get in, bro. Hot topic number 6. Where we at?
So we're gonna ask Sergeant White. Let us start off. Okay. Can you briefly give, for those that are watching right now, what is one tip, one piece of advice or something that could help improve the relationship between law enforcement and the community? Do you see something that
practical?
Maybe if we just did this a little more, the bond would be stronger between law enforcement and the people in our neighborhoods, the community, our citizens in general. Is there one particular thing if we just did more of?
I think the most important is respect goes both ways. Mm-hmm. We encounter citizens, we are expected to show them respect and in return. If the citizens show us respect, that whole situation or encounter will probably go a lot smoother. So there's respect on both parties. Each individual is important, and we need to accept them as that and treat the person with dignity when we're dealing with them.
I would say, just be involved in your community, be engaged in your community, especially in the educational arena. Be involved in our schools. Our kids need us, especially in our urban schools. Our kids just act better when adults are in the building. Okay, so that's just keeping it real, and just be a positive influence all the way around, and that helps law enforcement. Right. That helps law enforcement. That helps the community. Period.
Yep.
I think from law enforcement across the nation, accountability and transparency when we engage in a crisis. We should never wait until a crisis knocks on your front door. We should always be in the forefront to let the community know, give them the facts of what we're doing. Now, there's no such thing as a perfect organization. Will there be mistakes made? But accountability, honesty, and transparency will help calm that community if we forthcoming. And the same thing with the community. If you know a crime being committed in your community and you have the facts to help us resolve that situation, then community policing, reach out to that officer and give them the facts so we can help clean up the community. Madeiras, back in the years ago, we had a federal program called Weed and Feed.
Yep.
And Madeiras used to be one of the highest crime areas in Northwest. And when law enforcement, police, the task force, the sheriff office, when we joined team to give that community back their community and move those individuals of those bad habit out of that area, Madeiras became a great place to live. Okay, so that's what it's going to take.
Let me chime in real quick, and I want to say a kudos. That is because my thing was, how do we do that practically? And I can say that I remember that because I used to be the youth pastor at New Life when the New Life was on Blue Spring on the corner. I used to open the gym up at 10 at night. I had a big trunk, and I would drop all the cats, put their guns in there, and lock it up, and we would play ball in a safe place. You guys would always come and hang out between 10 and 12. You had a couple officers that used to play ball at my spot at my church gym. It was so dope. It was like, and I believe these are the kind of initiatives we need to bring back outside of what I'm already doing, midnight basketball. But I'm talking about bring those initiatives where when you have a cluster of so many African American, Black folk, young folk in a spot, and it's a hot spot because everybody hangs.
Right.
But if you can interject something that's current, relatable, and still wear the blue with honor because you hanging blue is honorable in my neighborhood.
Yes.
And I just think that's like, we may need to work on that, along with the gun back, take the gun back situation. I think those are some things we can do in community that are local and have stakeholders. And
it's interesting, Mr. Fred. Captain Book was talking about Madeiras. I'm not familiar with Madeiras, but Captain Rice knows this. When I was an undergrad, the Heights.
Right.
The Heights. You didn't go through the Heights.
Nah.
Okay.
You didn't, and the Heights is like literally like about 500 feet from A&M's campus, or like maybe what 600. You didn't go through the Heights. You didn't go through the Heights, and I think what happened was you had law enforcement, you had the campus, you had the community, you had literally maybe two churches located in that historical churches. Yes. And what happened was everyone had to come together.
Yes.
A&M had a vested interest in the Heights cleaning up its act.
Correct.
The churches had a vested interest in it. The
And now
community
you all
had a
have- they have
vested
a-
interest.
you have that
Law
community
enforcement
development.
can't spend every 5 minutes out there, so they had a vested interest in it. So when everyone came together and worked together, now you can have a picnic in the middle of the Heights. I mean, it's literally
It's beautiful.
It's to tell
You
them
got
two
the
different areas.
Charleston Development Center over there. I mean, I
right.
remember. Woo, wasn't
Captain
no
Rice
child
knows that it was rough.
Right.
It was rough. It was rough.
know.
Like I didn't grow. I grew up in the hood in Indiana, and I didn't. I'm like, what is this again?
I was a precinct commander, North Precinct. That was in my area, and so Miss Bone, Miss Daisy Bone, she would call, and she was all about it, and she would bring the community folk together, and we'd go meet the first Sunday every month. They would have a community watch meeting.
Yeah.
And we worked on cleaning up that neighborhood because it is a historical neighborhood.
Right.
True.
A neighborhood. Martin Luther King stayed in that neighborhood when he came to visit Huntsville.
Right. Wow.
So you've had great educators, great people to come out of Everton Heights community, but it took a collaborative action, is what Jay was talking about. Transparency, community working together, community policing, and those type of initiatives. Those are the type of things that Noble is about. Working in communities. To bring about a change, a positive change for communities, and especially best practices in law enforcement and true community policing.
So I do want to, let's move right into that question I spoke about before the video, stakeholders. How do how do we, well, it's a bad day. How do we become accountable stakeholders in collaboration, good collaborations with our law enforcement locally? Because we talked about the national, we
Right.
talk about right here.
So, the type of initiative that you do, Fred, like you do your each summer, you bring in and work on STEM with young people. You being a community stakeholder, let us support you in that.
Okay.
Let us support you in those efforts. There's so many others that are doing great things in the community. We just want to come in and support and be a part of that.
Okay.
And so again, change doesn't just start with the Noble organization. It starts with collaborative relationships with one another to bring about change. And being a stakeholder such as yourself and many others who are doing great things in the local community and abroad. That's where it starts.
So can you give us a contact number that's local, or how should we reach out as stakeholders? You got pastors, we got a lot of people that watch us every week, and they're like, okay, so I want to get involved. So what is that contact email number? How do they reach
Let me
you?
give you a number, 256.
All right.
653-6778. That's 256-653-6778.
Okay, so
you'll reach me at that telephone number, and be glad to give you some information, and we can start building a relationship from there.
All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask Professor X to put that information up while we go to another question. So the number again is 256
653
653
6778.
6778. Captain Jeffrey Rice Sr. All right. So this is the Huntsville. Is it the Huntsville Madison or Huntsville chapter?
Well, we are the Alabama chapter.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Noble.
Alabama chapter.
But we just so happen to be local here in Huntsville, Madison County, and we're growing. We have many more African American and others who may want to join the organization, and we're going to build it. And we're going to build this chapter throughout the state. But we are here representing the state chapter.
Great.
So it's good stuff.
State, regional, and local. Okay, that's
Yes,
great.
yes, sir.
All right. All right. Mark.
And of course, we're recognizing our heroes, heroes that are making a difference here on No More Dirty on the session right now, this Saturday edition. Of course, Minister Fred rocking his Batman.
You already know that's
the
it.
Dark
The
Knight.
Dark Knight. Let's go.
No, of course, Batman and
I
Warner
am dark
Brothers is
too.
not underwriting this show, so
Yeah,
you may have to blur
you
that
gotta
out
talk to him.
somewhat.
I'm
Yeah, they're
not-
not,
no,
they're
no,
not supporting the show
I'm a fan.
whatsoever. But
Thank you.
and don't forget to cash app us at $ No More Dirty Inc. No More Dirty.Inc. $ at the front. Guys, we have a few more questions we're gonna throw your way. And once again, this one is one that I've always felt that when we talk about what's happening, especially with social justice and what's going on in our communities, one that I want to throw out there, especially for the young people out there, especially for the parents who may wonder with their kids who are going out late at night or whatever. Each of you, and if an individual, especially our young people of color, you're pulled over late at night, maybe you went out clubbing, doing whatever. What should they do in this case?
And what shouldn't they not
What
do?
should they
And
right? And what,
yeah.
right? What
So
should
somebody
they
can do the should,
what
somebody
should
can do
they
the should
not do?
not.
Because we want to make sure everyone is safe. We don't want anything to escalate. We don't want anything to happen. But I guess one of the first things is to pop in that popular NWA song. Don't do that. Don't say
Please,
anything
not today.
disrespectful. Don't say. But we get that. But what if I'm pulled over right now? What is something that I should do? What's something that you would tell your child, your niece, your nephew, a young person when they're pulled over by law
Just the
enforcement?
facts. Law enforcement.
Now, Sergeant White, she touched on that earlier during the conversation about the respect. Okay, if you already got your mind around respect, remember that officer is doing his or her job, her duties. Okay, or his duties, and so when you know the lights is coming on, you see the lights on. If you got all your driver license, insurance, have them ready to present to that officer. Show that respect, that courtesy. Being hostile during a traffic stop, that's something you don't want to do. Okay? let that also
Why?
give you.
Why?
Because at that point, if you are an individual, well, and it don't have to be a juvenile, it could be an adult. If you already have your mind made up that you dislike officers for whatever reason, then you just going to push the buttons to and heighten that simple traffic stop, which shouldn't get to that point. So if you do the respectful thing and let that officer do his or her job and explain to you why you was stopped. If you're at night, always turn in the dome light so they can see and feel secure. Make sure they want you to go home. And guess what? They want to go home to their family too.
Yeah,
And so it's that you can support them by taking those simple basic steps.
Sarge.
I'm gonna follow up with Captain Bullock. Same thing. So you definitely want to keep your hands visible where they can see them. So if you're getting pulled over, keep your hands visible. If you have anything that you need to reach for, you can explain that to the officer, or obviously with your dome lights on, so they don't feel like you're reaching for something. And just comply with what the officer is asking you at that time. If you feel at any point that the traffic stop's going south and you just didn't feel like the officer treated you well, that's not the point where you argue that.
Okay.
You wait until the traffic stop is over, and then you come and see internal affairs and you report that officer on what they did. But at the time that you're going through it, so we can make sure you go home and the officer go home, it's best to just comply with what they're asking you. Provide your driver's license, your driver's license, proof of insurance, and things of that nature. And don't make any sudden movements, and just be respectful.
And I can speak, for both of our agencies and a lot of agencies across the country. They have body worn cameras, and they have cameras in the vehicle. So that interaction is being recorded. So as Sergeant White said, and Captain Bullock, don't try to solve that situation on the side of the road. That is not the proper venue. Go to your internal affairs. You want to contest a ticket, go to court. Okay, but that interaction is being recorded.
Okay.
And so just know that, and just don't escalate this situation. You be professional. The officer should be professional. And again, if you feel that officer was not professional, then you report it. But getting into a confrontation and an argument on the side of the road is definitely not the place to handle that.
All right. Can you give us the address for the location where an individual who feels they were not treated right or they treated unlawful would go to file the complaint?
Yeah, for the Madison County Sheriff Office, you can go to our website, and they have a drop down box that you click on. If you want to pay that officer compliment, you can type in that box. Or if someone you felt like improperly performed their duties, then you can file that formal complaint in that box. And for us, our attorney affairs, we get that, and if it rises to a level where it will stay in that division, then they will investigate. But if it's at a level where the patrol division commander could deal with it at that level, then they will address it. But regardless, nothing would be swept under the rug. We are both accredited agency, and we have standards that we got to follow from the sheriff down to the patrolman, and so that I go back to accountability, transparency.
Okay.
Love that.
You're able to file complaints or in our 3 ways. You can call us. Our number is 256-427-7012. You can email us at the city's website. We have a link there that you can file a complaint and submit your complaint electronically. And you also can come to our address. Our address is 820 North Memorial Parkway.
820 North Memorial Parkway.
So Captain Bullock hit on something that's called accreditation.
I was going to say, what is that?
Okay, so we are accredited through an organization called the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. Noble was a founding member of that organization.
Wow.
Okay, Noble, along with the National Sheriff's Association, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Executive Police Research Forum. Those 4 agencies came together to start CALEA. And so CALEA certification, the Madison County Sheriff's Department, Birmingham Police Department, Huntsville, a lot of agencies across this nation are under the CALEA umbrella for policies and procedures, standards, policies, and procedures. So Noble was a founding member of that organization to create CALEA.
I love that.
And you know what, Minister Fred, I gotta say this is one of the reasons why I brought up the question about what you should do when you're pulled over, whatever, because it goes back to, I believe, Captain Bullock mentioned about accountability.
Correct.
Now, it's accountability both ways, especially on our end, because I had a good friend of mine who was in law enforcement for many years, and he broke it down to me like this. You know, we have accountability. Imagine if you're going out tonight with your homies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Talk to the folk right there.
Okay. Yes. So if you're going out, if your child's going out tonight, the person that they're riding with who's driving the car, do they have insurance?
Come on.
If they're pulled over. Okay. Are the brake lights working? If an officer sees that, what are they going to do? Your brake lights aren't working. If you're doing the one-eyed jack thing, you're going to get it. You know, if you're sitting there and you know that you got the music up way too loud and you're going through a residential neighborhood, you'll probably get it. If you are pulled over and your car smells like weed, you're going to get it.
Let me interject something. Just for the record, in Alabama, contraband is still illegal. Weed is still illegal.
Weed, marijuana, Mary Jane, the chronic, the sticky,
chronic,
icky.
All of those are still illegal in Alabama.
Right. So when you get pulled over.
So you can't be mad.
So it's accountability both ways, right? When you leave the house, ask your friend, hey man, before we head out to the movies, you do got your driver's license on you. It's not, 3 years out of date or whatever. Because my mom asked me all the time, when's your driver's license expire? My mom asked me that all the time. So mom, it'll be 2030, whatever. I check, but she asked me all the time. If your brake lights aren't working, you decide to go from here to Decatur, okay, you roll the dice.
So you
roll the dice now on that one. Now, if you get pulled over, don't be brand new. If you sit here and you find out that you haven't paid your insurance for a few years and they get you on that, can you get mad at someone for you not handling your business? Now, you didn't handle your business, when you sat there. So I think it's one of those things, it goes both ways, some accountability. I encourage everyone, do not put yourself in that situation. And then, because let's be honest, you go to court for a lot of these cases, and you guys know this, you go to court, it becomes a cycle. Because do you have the money to pay this ticket? You just lost hours from work.
Correct.
You had to make accommodations for your child. You had to do this. In other words, and then maybe you don't have, not only did you not have insurance, you were driving with your brake lights out. And then, by the way, you had another ticket that you were sitting on you didn't know about. Now it's become a cycle that you can't dig yourself out of.
Correct.
So that's why accountability, right?
Yeah. And that's why I encourage, especially the young people, the college students and the high school kids that's driving. If you get a ticket, it's important to let your parents know because they know the process to get that taken care of. If you put that in a glove box and you forget about it, guess what's going to happen when you get your next traffic stop? That computer that we have in all these cars, the technology that we have, it won't forget about it. So it's important that they handle that responsibility. If you're going to drive, it's responsibility of the driver to do the right thing.
Doing 65 in that school zone, Minister Fred. And after you get that ticket, and you put it in that glove compartment.
Minister Fred.
Not Sinister. That was Sinister Fred that did that.
That's Sinister.
But that's true. Because I remember the last ticket I got. I'll be honest. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. I got a
limitation.
And guess what? When I got at work, because I know how my mind works. Man, I went to that website. Said I felt a certain way about it. I said, I guess that means this month I won't be going to Starbucks. But I had to go ahead and knock it out because I know how my mind works. I will forget about this. I'll fold it up and put it in my visor.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to get hemmed up for a ticket 5 or 6 years down the line, So
that's true.
Be accountable. Be accountable.
That's cool. So I think we covered just about. We had a video from your organization, Noble, that was really pretty interesting, dealing with crisis and the crisis in America, which is what we're dealing with, racial injustice. I think we would definitely play that on the end. But in closing, is there anything you want to share that we have not covered that you think we should definitely know about? Maybe I know, again, talk about the scholarship. We're going to definitely support anything that's very important, and that's on the Huntsville HPD side. It's the Madison County Sheriff Department. Let's start Huntsville.
Well, again, just want to just reiterate that we will be having our scholarship gala March the 12th in Birmingham, Alabama. If you would like to support that gala, please, by all means, you all have my number. Reach out to me, 256-653-6778.
Well, Cap, you move kind of fast. We're going to just one more time, slow it down a bit.
It's 256.
There you go. Amen. Hallelujah.
653-6778. Reach out to me if you would like to support our gala. This year, 2020 was supposed to be the year of the woman, and we were not able to have our gala because of the COVID crisis.
Right.
So we will be honoring the women this year in the year of the woman. And our honorees, our keynote speaker this year will be Dr. Cynthia Warwick, president of Stillman College. And we will be honoring Miss Tanisha Ross. She's a NASA scientist here in Huntsville.
Wait. Did y'all hear that? A scientist in Huntsville.
She's a rocket scientist.
Rocket scientist. Professor X is
and she graduated from the Alabama A&M University.
Alabama A&M, rich in heritage divine.
Here you go.
We also will be honoring from the Holmes Madison County area, Miss Bobby Bradley and Gloria Batts, who are co-founders of Village of Promise. Miss Caree Pruitt, founder and executive director of the Dannon Project.
Right.
We also will honor our director, Professor Linda Williams. She is the former deputy assistant director with the U.S. Secret Service and past Nobel president.
Wow. And that's who we'll show the video from.
We also will be honoring Chief C.J. Davis. She's the first, I do believe, the first African-American female chief of police of the Memphis Police Department.
Wow. And
she also is the past Nobel president. And so we're going to honor those women, the year of the women.
Wow.
And making a difference in our community. And so we hope that everyone will be able to come out and support our gala this year. We have many women who are doing some excellent things in the community.
That's awesome.
Again, so we just want to honor them, and we're thankful for this young lady here, Sergeant Rosalind White.
Amen. Amen.
Doing some great things. She serves as our public information officer with the Huntsville Police Department.
Awesome.
Doing some outstanding things, and we want to honor her too, because she's a shining example again to all these young ladies that are out there to say they may want to go into law enforcement. Follow her steps. You're looking for someone to look up to. Follow Sergeant Rosalind White, because she's definitely making a difference in our community. And also, before we wrap up here, I want to thank J.R. Bullock, who's a mentor of mine. J.R.'s been had his hand on me for a long time, and I do appreciate J.R. J.R. is the first African-American sergeant, lieutenant, and captain of the Madison County Sheriff's Department, making a difference in our community. So we want to honor him also today.
I think we need to put our hands together for all these firsts up in here.
Wow, definitely. History.
Again,
history.
We talked about the theme of hero as an attribute.
So can Captain Bullock appoint me to like something like an honorary?
No, that would be.
Can me and you ride out one day, maybe? Or that won't.
Well, we do ride along programs. So
yes,
and this time you can ride in the front seat.
You're right. That's been a problem. That's not been a problem. I'm a good kid. But you know what, Mr. Fred, before we wrap things up, I have one important question. Did come across the Simsatron 3000.
Okay, Simsatron, I got you.
Right, came across. Now, tomorrow's a huge day in this nation. Cincinnati Bagels, LA Rams. Who you guys got?
Dallas Cowboys.
Well, he clearly is disqualified. He went with the losing team.
I don't have a pro team, but so I'll go with the Bengals.
Bengals. Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with them Bengals, man.
Scissor hands. Who you got? You gotta roll with one of them, brother. You gotta roll with one of them.
Man, my team got lemonade. I went Bengals, man.
You want the Bengals? Okay. Now, Mr. Fred, I know you don't. Are you? Can you just give us one?
Yeah, I would just. I'm going to go Bengals because my buddy, who's a Christian hip hop artist, you might have heard that he did that the song for the Bengals. His name is K Drama. He's one of my friends and producers, so he did the song. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals, man, because the dude got it. The track is dope, man.
You know what I was
that
thinking?
Went
I know
viral,
the Rams
man.
got an awesome defense.
Yeah,
they got Aaron Donald. They got Von Miller. They got an awesome defense. Matthew Stafford, the veteran quarterback. They got explosive offense. They got Odell Beckham. I mean, I'm going with the Bengals.
And I'm going with Cincinnati.
Midwest right here. I gotta show Midwest love. But
that's what's up. Well, again, let's put our hands together for these amazing Black heroes. We talking with, yes, sir. Noble in the building. Thank you so much for being a part. I hope this was as enjoyable to you all as it was and informative. And thank you all for taking the time to tune in. Why don't you chop up a little something as we queue up this this video? We want to do a tribute to the past president and one of the first making history for change agent and people and community. And we'll be right back. Let's give it to him, Scissor.
Look, lately when working, I feel like my God has been doing the most. Hard to be humble when there's so much people out dangling the road. I keep my faith. If he call me a now, boy, I pick up the phone. Yeah. They try to stop me on smooth like Miyagi, boy, I'm in my soul. I don't condone no violence, I keep it real, just in case that's a reminder. G.O.D. is my designer, but I stay Gucci, so ain't no need to act prouder. Low-key, I might have a problem, but it's all good. I give it all to the Father. He always been at the top, ain't no way we can stop, just aim high like Mariah. I can't lose, even if they counted me out. Boss man with the master plan, he the living water in the drought. I came up, but I lost friends. Thank God he turned it all around. And I'm telling everybody, gather round. When nobody found, he gon' hold you down. I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't lose.
So I go by Miami cause I'm born and raised in this place that we call the MIA. But it's not about me, it's all about he is how he died and shed his blood for me. I mean, what you gonna do when he come for you? Oh, what you gonna do when this devil come for you? You better what you gonna do when he come for you? Oh, what you gonna do when this devil come for you? You better what you gonna do when he come for you? Oh, what you gonna do when this devil come for you? You better get up in this Bible and get prayed up, then stand in the face and say, devil, what's up? Okay, he forgot I'm a child of God. Okay, he forgot that Jesus and squad. Oh yeah, he know that the spirit lives here, and cause it do, baby, we ain't going nowhere. He know that the spirit lives here, and cause it do, baby, we ain't going nowhere. Oh yeah, you gon' learn today. Matter of fact, devil, get on your little knees and pray. Cause Christians, we an army, better yet a navy. Yep, we the real ones that drive this devil crazy. That's right. Oh.
Look out for the Christ, I'ma let it bang, homie. Holy is the Lamb, I'ma let it sing, homie. Covered in the blood and he broke the chains on me. Holy Spirit fire on me, spit and flame, homie. I was headed for the pit. Love was too legit. Say by grace alone, by the Son, I won't forget.
Check a mic, check a right. Okay, welcome back. Oh man, y'all give it up for my man DJ Scissorhands.
DJ Scissorhands.
Okay, we gotta do the announcement. This coming Monday, you know, this is Love Day. We are doing a special virtual experience called The Keys to True Love, Happiness, Romance, and Marriage. 7 o'clock.
Monday is Valentine's
Monday evening. Yep. And it's virtual, so you can do your thing. Don't worry about it, brother. It's on and popping.
Wait a second. Monday is Valentine's Day. Why didn't? The story of my life, once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever, man. Anyway, you see it on the screen. That's what it is. True Love is free. It's a virtual experience. Get a whole bunch of great tips, best practices, the whole nine. We want you to make sure you tune in, share the like. Don't forget to go to our page, our YouTube channel. That's going to be the best way. Subscribe. No More Dirty INC. I think that's about it. We want to thank again you all. I want to thank our captain, Captain Rice. We want to say thank you, Captain Bullock. We want to say thank you, Sergeant White. Thank you for being the first, and thank you for being the first. This is the first time we've had you on the show. This will not be our last. And thanks. Anything you guys want to? You good?
Give them the website once again. The website for Noble.
Okay, so there's two websites.
NobleInternational.org.
Right.
Correct?
Noble International. That's the international.org. Right. But if you want to do the one national, which is in the states, and you can also find the chapters, which is Alabama is one of the chapters. We have our representation. It's nationalnoble.org. National Noble, which means national 50 states. All right. And again, the telephone number is 256
653
6778 6778. And we'll make sure we put it on our website so that way, and we'll also post the letter of support on our website for this between now and March 12th. And we want you to take the time to support them as you support us. I think that's a wrap. We're going to go out. We'll just end with the presentation from the past president, and we will see you on Monday at 7 o'clock. Oh, don't forget, No More Dirty Radio. We got a dope interview. That's going to be tomorrow. We do that every Sunday, 5 p.m. on G93, 6 p.m. on 103.1. You can go, you can download the apps. You can check it out on our website. You know how to do it. You're savvy. That's what's up. And I'm your host, Minister Fred, too.
You can't just folk DJ Scissorhands.
And
hi.
The one that keep getting no's from Noble. With that being said, we'll see you next week. Enjoy the dope video. Feel like doing a freestyle, man. Okay, we're gonna go this out to you. Check it. Now, I flip the B, the I, the B, the L, the E. I rock it with the stage cats. G, G, N-O-B, L to the E. It's National Organization of Black Enforcements at the L-O-D, G, G, N-N-B, B, Noble. That's the reason why we say do the right thing, respect, and be free. Flip the B, the I, the B, the L, the E. Rock it with my man. Scissor hand, a DJ, 1, 2, 3, rocking with my mate. Yeah. Enjoy.
Attorney General Bill Barr confronted at a closed-door meeting with law enforcement officers over these comments he made about systemic racism.
Does the Trump Justice Department seek to end systemic racism and racism in law enforcement? I just need a yes or no answer.
I don't agree that there's systemic racism in the police department.
Specifically,
generally in this country.
Joining me now is Linda Williams, president of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. Good to have you with us. So you're only a couple weeks into the job, right? Into being put in this position, and you were invited to a meeting with the Attorney General with a couple dozen other folks in law enforcement. No real agenda here, just a chat. But you did take that opportunity to address the Attorney General's comments from last month. What did you say? And what was his reaction?
Well, good morning, first of all, and thank you for having me. New to that position as national president, but not to that platform. And so the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, NOBLE, is part of a network of major law enforcement organizations. And so exactly, he invited us to a chat. There was no specific agenda. And so I patiently let everyone speak. But just 2 weeks, actually, on the very day that I was sworn in, I heard the testimony of Attorney General Barr that stated just what you played, that he did not believe that systemic racism was real. And so I popped in and said, sir, just because one does not exist, just because one does not experience something, does not negate its existence. That law enforcement is a microcosm of society, and it's to be real. But you can't resolve a problem unless you acknowledge a problem.
And how did he respond to that?
He tilted his head and he responded with a question. Did I think that all of law enforcement was facing systemic racism? I said, we can't throw a blanket on everything, but we can't deny it. But just the very essence of it permeates throughout an organization and make it a racist society. And let's be real, that systemic racism is part of our American culture. It's embedded in every facet of life. Systemic racism is just as American as apple pie. And we have to acknowledge that. And I challenged him as the Attorney General, who's the chief law enforcement officer for the entire United States, to have a close mind. I challenged him and I spoke personally that as a 30+ year veteran in law enforcement at the federal level, as well as on a local level, that I know it to be true. And for him to not acknowledge that is for him to not face reality of where we are and what this country consists of.
You know what you're bringing up, the refusal to accept that reality, right? And my apologies, I'm forgetting who said this, so I apologize. But as we were having these difficult, necessary conversations, right, that I think became more prevalent over the last couple of months, I was struck by someone who said, empathy means believing the other person's experience, right? You have to believe what they told you they felt and experienced in that moment, even if you weren't there. And so what's fascinating to me too is him sort of, tilting his head and listening. But the point that you make, I think, speaks to another point that we heard him kind of double down on in that testimony. And I want to play that moment as well.
Blacks will not be treated even-handedly. They will not be given the benefit of the doubt. They will be treated with greater suspicion. At the same time, I think it would be an oversimplification to treat the problem as rooted in some deep-seated racism generally infecting our police departments.
To your point, it's not about so much a deep-seated racism infecting police departments. It's the reality that deep-seated racism has infected the United States of America for hundreds of years and has been allowed to fester and grow. And there is still apparently this block, even at the highest levels, to acknowledge its existence.
Absolutely. And as a law enforcement person and of a leading organization such as Noble, it was a personal affront because, again, I pointed out to him that you first have to recognize that there's a problem and that you can't solve that problem if you pretend there isn't one. And even more so, you can't resolve it by making excuses. You got to acknowledge it. So I said, I challenge you respectfully. You have to acknowledge this because it negates everything that I stand for, who I am. And that's why this country stands where it is if we don't acknowledge that there is a problem and that we have to make a change.
What was the reaction from the other people who were part of that meeting?
You could hear a pin drop. There was nodding, and a couple of other colleagues jumped in after I opened that Pandora's box. But everyone listened attentively, but you can't deny reality, and you can't be afraid to speak the truth. And that's the boldness of being in the position that I'm in, that you have to have first to speak truth to power. At the end of the day, he's a public servant, as am I. He's a man with a title. But if we don't talk, if we don't communicate, we can never find resolve to the problems that exist.
It's a great point. We really appreciate you being with us this morning. Thank you for those decades of service as well. And listen, I'd love to continue to follow this with you and see where this goes, especially as you now have taken the reins as president of Noble. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Woo! Yeah. Early in the morning, my alarm goes off. Yeah, I just dropped my jet fuel, time to take off. Yeah, get my day started, already got a plan. Yeah, I'm so high up, I don't know
know when I'm gon' land. I'm making boss moves. Oh, you making boss moves? Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves. I got that hustling flow like I'm DJ. My whole team will he wave. Pass the baton like a relay. And I run this go up like I'm MJ. I'm dunking all my opponents. I swear that the devil don't want it. When it comes to my purpose, I'm on it. I learned through your speakers, you want it. I got a country grammar like Millie. My eyes glowing like Billy. Can't nobody tell me I ain't ready. I'll stay in your dreams like Freddy. I don't run after cash, I'm already rich. I'm already bumming, I'm already lit. My tongue is a bliggie, you already hit. The bullets I got, they never gon' miss. Not a trap boy, but I stay whipping. Living water, I stay sipping. Like them Texas boys, I'm still tipping. Got the blues, you'll think I'm gripping. Like Kanye West, I'm putting on. At the top, that's where I belong. Coming hard on every song. I bet you I can make you shake your dome. Early in the morning, my alarm goes off. Yeah, I just drunk my jet fuel, time to take off. Yeah, get my day started, already got a plan. Yeah, I'm so high up, I don't know when I'm gon' land. I'm making boss moves. Oh, you making boss moves? Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves. I'm coming in high. Just like Neo. I jump on the top rope. Like Rey Mysterio. Even when I die, I'm still gonna fly. Back to the future like Marty McFly. I know they don't like me, but I'm that guy. I know they don't like me, but you can't deny it. I'm throwing flames. Got plenty of range. How did I get here? I know it's so strange. I wrote the vision and I made it plain. They thought I was crazy, they called me a lame. Citrus get books, I shoot with the aim. Yeah, I be ballin', I know I got game. I feel like the Black Mamba. Can't nobody stop me. As long as I got the trade, I'm pulling up with the three. Nobody saw me, but now I'm a boss. I'm on the paper, I put on the dog. I'm pushing the gas, I smell the exhaust. I'm boarding my plane, it's time to take off. Early in the morning, my alarm goes off. Yeah, I just drunk my jet fuel, time to take off. Yeah, get my day started, already got a plan. Yeah, I'm so high up, I don't know when I'm gon' land. I'm making boss moves. Oh, you making boss moves? Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. I'm making boss moves. Hey, I'm making boss moves. Yeah, I'm making boss moves.
I'm tired of underdog narrative. We're a really, really good team. We're here to make noise. Teams are gonna have to pay attention to us. We're, like I said, a really good team with really good players and coaches, and we're coming for it all.
Money Mac, I'm a shooter. I aim for the stars, stand alone like Boomer. Icky shuffle in the end zone. Our opponents get sent home. Legacy set in stone. We ain't underdogs, we been on. Don't sleep on our town. Cincinnati gets down. Now we're going for the crown. We're Super Bowl bound. Yeah. Why not us? It is us. Welcome to the jungle. Now let me hear you say. Who that think gonna beat them thing? Who that think gonna beat them thing? I'm from that C-I-N-C-I-N-N-A-T-I. This is my hometown. I'ma rep it till I die. Yeah, other Tiger Taylor made. Bunch of black, they on the chase. Ice in my vein, Joe Bird. Mixing in the field, shake it back. Done took a few hits, got right back up. From the bottom to the top, got it out the mud. Let's be legendary, rule it all when it comes down to the nitty gritty. Bringing Vince back to the city. When I see it, I'ma hit the gritty and sing. Do that, do that, do that,